for the live before lock stream. We're going to go over NBA. Maybe if I have time, we'll do NHL as well. And so far, it doesn't look like there is too much, if any, relevant news, at least yet. I always get a little nervous that something's going to come up just as I'm comfortable with my lineups. But what we're going to do is we'll just go straight through process again. Literally the same thing I did earlier, because I did promise that that's what I do. So we're going to go straight through this. What's up, Nick? First of all, let me pull up my Discord channel just in case there's news that comes out. I'm already kind of a step ahead of the game because I updated the projections, and I see anything juicy here? I guess not. I updated the projections, and then I already started to rebuild my lineups. The one thing that I did, which I promised I would do, is I upped. What did I do? I increased the projections on the later games, just because. Again, this is my new theory that if it is preferred to be flexible and play the later games, then that has to have some quantitative value. I don't know exactly what it is, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to figure it out. So directionally, what I did was I went into SaberSim. I'll show you here actually what I did. Let's and again, I don't know if this is the right way to handle this. I'm just learning like everybody else. So what I did was I came over here and I went into this teams area. Hey, Joanne. And I just literally upped all of these late games, like the four teams, by 2 points. And what that does, it filters down to all of the other players. And so when I do that, I'll probably have more of those late games, which provides more flexibility from those late games, which has some value. So that's what I did. I already did the contest sims, which I did earlier, and I re-uploaded my players, and I didn't do any rules. And I wonder if I'm supposed to do stuff like max one of Banchero and Wagner, so to speak, for example. And I don't think I need to do that on a 6-game slate. I think on a 6-game slate, I should just kind of let it roll and just get what I get. So one thing that showed up interestingly in the new Sims, I'm still getting all of this Chris Paul and Trace Jackson Davis, but Andrew Wiggins is showing up a little more than he was earlier, which is very interesting. I don't know exactly why that is, but I mean, that's good enough for me. It's like more Golden State exposure in general. That's more late game exposure in general. So I'm gonna fly with that. I mean, I'm just gonna put this whole pile in. And I'll probably do one more look a little later, but see, this is what happens when you overweight those games. Look at all these. I mean, all these guys are from these late games, which is kind of cool. Outside skeptical fan of better is a guaranteed win for the Celtics if they have a combined total of over 46 rebounds. Okay. Sounds good to me. Hell do I know? It is going to be a great game. True. I mean, that is going to be a terrific game, and I want to watch some of that. Let me see what like the big buy-ins would look like. Like in the alley-oop, for example, I'd be getting again all these Warriors, and I'd be getting Embiid. I mean, this is what you want to do. is delay as much as possible so that you can take advantage of the late swap capabilities, I think. And then with the single entry, again, I'm not going to be so greedy. I'll put these in like this. And then I'll go over my full exposures here. And again, for the satellite that I'm playing, I'm just going to go with the top projected score. And this is like for now, you know. This can change as things develop, but I think this is reasonable. One thing I learned, by the way, which is actually here's a I don't know if anybody does this with the same level that I do with the using of the entry editor. One thing that I noticed was that on one of my computers, when I would go to download the games, the entry file for DraftKings, it would automatically open my DraftKings editor, but the other computer didn't, and I couldn't figure out what it is. And there's actually a setting here in SaberSim on the right, which I didn't know, and you had to do it for each of your different computers, whether or not to open the DFS site on download or auto update sources. So I never knew that. So that's definitely something I learned today. Still nothing new. Oh, I see what's new. What's new is that Rozier is in. Aha. Okay. So that's why things looked a little different, because Rozier was out earlier, which is what made Ish Smith such a good play. Okay. I was wondering what looked different about this. Rozier in. I was wondering where all the Ish Smith went. It went nowhere. So that got replaced by even more like Kuminga and, like I said, Andrew Wiggins. And that's why all these guys popped up a little more. Okay, very interesting. I didn't even know that happened. But like they say, the projections speak, and this is why. I didn't even need to know. I knew something was different. I didn't know what it was. All right, let's look at FanDuel. Let's take a look at that and see what that looks like. Let's upload the projections. And as usual, if you have the SaberSim subscription, you could do this automatically. Or you can download these right from the site also. Make sure I have everybody I want. And let's build or rebuild the FanDuel lineups. And in that, I'm playing just the monster and the shot. Yeah, so I default to my other comment, Joanne, that I think the slate is small enough that if you get to them organically, you know what I mean? Like if you get to 4 of them and it's a well projected lineup, I don't think you need to worry about it. But what's good about it is that if you do have 4 Golden States and you're feeling a little fishy about it, you can always swap to somebody like in the Sacramento game, some value could show up there, or you can go to one of the Charlotte guys. So if you don't want the 4 Golden States, you could swap, to one of these other guys. Patrick Williams and Keegan Murray. I don't know. Like I hate to be glib about it, but if I'm not getting to them, I'm not getting to them. So let me just see. So Patrick Williams is on Chicago. So I am naturally going to get to less Chicago than most people because, again, what I did was I downgraded those games in general. So whatever people are going to be getting from the Philly game specifically, I'm getting less. I have to be. So that's I guess that's my answer. I'm probably not going to get any of the Patrick Williams. I'm getting some of this Patrick Beverly, which is kind of a curious play to make. The other guy that I thought about earlier was Andre Drummond. But it's weird. I don't have any really big take on anybody today, such that I would, force them in or out. Just kind of like yesterday, I really liked that Moses Brown idea. I mean, it didn't work out, but whatever. I happened, and I really hated the Andrew Nembhard idea, and that, well, it worked by accident. I think he got hurt. But so I actually went to great lengths to make sure that those takes were adhered to. But here I don't really have any big takes per se. I'm just going to get to kind of who I get to. And this Trace Jackson Davis thing is yeah. So yeah, I know. I feel that, Jolly. I'm a little afraid of the minutes also. But I mean, on some level. So what I like to do there, I'll show you what I do there. So let's save these for now. This makes sense. We'll save this monster. This is a neat little tool. It's very. And by the way, Tyrese Maxey going off today is the ultimate troll. By the way, I really like that idea. I mean, because he couldn't do it with Embiid out, and he's certainly going to do it with Embiid in. Love it. So this is what I do in a situation like that with Embiid when you're afraid of the minutes. Hold on. Seems really odd, but this is one of the reasons I put the minutes here in the sheets. So what this shows is really what this projection is based on. And they're projecting it for 34 minutes. So the question is there more downside from those minutes or upside? Okay, I think it's fair to say that there's probably more downside than upside, right? I mean, I guess he could only play 30 minutes if it's either a blowout or they want to keep him, whatever. And I guess technically there's not much upside from that. I mean, maybe it could get up to 36. So I suppose there's a little bit of downside risk for the minutes, but it's not as if they're projecting him for 36. You know what I mean? They're only projecting him for 34. So I don't think it's, while it's a certain concern, remember, there's not that many studs on the slate. You know what I mean? Like, if you just look at it by just raw fantasy points, I mean, he's projected 8 points higher than the next guy. So, I mean, even if he doesn't completely smash, he could still be the highest scorer, which don't sell short how important that is. So I'm not too worried about it. I don't blame you for being worried about it. And if I was getting like 100%, maybe I'd be worried about it. But I'll tell you the guy I'm really worried about is Wembanyama. That's the guy I'm worried about because he's going to be 5% owned. He's, allegedly playing only 24, 25 minutes. And this guy can put up whatever he wants. So I'm very concerned about not having him. That is definitely the case. But what can I do? Wow, actually getting some Ish Smith anyway? On FanDuel? Is that actually happening? No, he's not. Okay, that was earlier. Okay. Now I'm getting all the Morant, Chris Paul and Curry together. Maybe that's not the greatest. So maybe that's something I can go back and do. Yeah, we don't need to do that. So what we can do, and this is, I almost don't recommend this, to make these rules because allegedly these game sims are supposed to take care of that. But you know what? I should just leave it just on principle. And the good thing is, you know what I could do if I felt like it? I could always go from Curry / Paul, and I could put in Jalen Suggs at the end of the day. And that's not the worst idea, actually. Like you have these lineups with Chris Paul and Curry together. Turn that into one of these other guards. like especially from Orlando. I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. That's actually not bad. Let's see what I have here. Team stacks. Do I have any with like a whole bunch of people in here? Let's see. Yeah, I do have like one lineup with like 4 Charlottes, one lineup with 4 Sacramentos, one lineup with 4, just for kicks. Let me see what that looks like. This one's got Rozier, Miller, Bridges, and Richards. I mean, that's tough to get home. But just one lineup out of a bunch. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But this is where you look at like 4 stacks, and I have a 4 stack with just one lineup. It's not so bad. Let me check that out for DraftKings. Let's see what that is. Let's take a look again. So in team stacks, we have so we have like, to answer your question, Joanne, I mean, I have like 12% of my lineups do have 4 Warriors in them. So we'll go down together, so to speak. Most of them have 3 Warriors, though. And again, this is not set in stone. You know, this whole last 2 games can be completely shuffled. And I'm really, really content with that reality. And yeah, and Jolly, we might end up just keeping it. You might end up just keeping it. So just so I'm here, you can fire off some questions if you want. And in the meanwhile, while you're doing that, I'm going to redo my hockey lineups. But feel free to fire off everything in the NBA. I think it's a pretty straightforward slate, honestly. Now, again, whenever I say that, then like big news comes in, which I don't expect. And if anything comes in, please tell me. But I have a feeling these Golden State guys are going to be so popular. But whatever. Big hockey slate tonight. You know what's back? League of Legends, sort of. I mean, it's not a full the full split, but they have these like these little tournaments or something like that. I want to get used to playing again. I really like playing LOL. So I'm going to fire a couple of those off. Maybe I'll put some sheets together for that. And golf is Thursday. So I put some sheets up for that. Actually, I don't even know if I put them up there yet. I still have to figure out ownerships for some sites, but it's a nice 59 player slate, no cut. I like the no cut. It's hard enough to sweat twice. Sweat once. Sweat twice is a little annoying. And it's got a lot of good golfers in it. PGA's back, so to speak. MMA off for still another 2 weeks. Here's a question: is Murphy is out? You're telling me. I want to know if that's new. Maybe it is, huh? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Trey Murphy is out. All right, so we are going to have to deal with that, unfortunately. So let me finish the hockey, and then we are going to have to redo everything because I think that with the absence of value, like Najee Marshall and or Larry Nance could show up as a really, really good play. So we are going to have to deal with that. But I want to finish my hockey lineups first. But that is very important news. And what is that game? That game it's 8. So it's not 7, but it is at 8. So we are going to have to deal with it. I wonder who's going to start. You know who else that helps, by the way? No, it does not. Oh, no, I was about to say it helped some Brooklyn guys. But no, Herb Jones is going to be the one on Michael Bridges. He's a very, very good defender. All right, so let's finish the hockey, then we'll get back to this basketball stuff. Oh my God, look at all these Tampas. This is great. Love this. This is sick. I just love when the contest sims come up with completely different things than the Saber score builds. I've talked about that earlier. In hockey, it's like wild. Like in the NBA, I mean, it's like such a chalky sport, really, that it's even when you crank up the contest sim settings, you're still getting relatively high owned plays. So hockey is good. And just as a reminder, I mean, Boston, Nashville, those were the two main ones. And I just, mentioned earlier, that was my process. And one thing I have to figure out, again, with the hockey, I do have to always double check the goalies at the very, very end. Because right now this isn't even confirmed, so I have to make sure that all these goalies are in. So if it's not Omerk, I have to find out about that pretty soon. Let me just see, for example, Boston goalie. I mean, it could be Swayman, right? Well, he hasn't. Well, we'll see. We'll see who it is. One of these guys I'm playing. All right. So, yeah. So I'm going to have to redo these projections. Unfortunately, let's see what SaberSim looks. Let's see what SaberSim shows right now. What I could do is just use the SaberSim one. It's one guy, right? Just the New Orleans guys, and I think that actually makes some sense. So let's do this. See, it already put this guy in here. It says, Trey Murphy out. So let's just see what they did to Trey Murphy. They didn't put starters out yet, though. So if we reset these, I wonder what they did to these other guys. Valanciunas, nothing. Larry Nance is still only 16. It's got to change, right? Najee Marshall's got to be more than 12 points, so we're going to have to wait on that one. But for now, what I can do is swap out all the Trey Murphy just so I don't forget, right? Okay. And we'll do that in FanDuel also. And this is just for me, just in case I get really swamped. At least I got him out. Troy Murphy Jr. Trey Murphy, either way. Let me just see if I had any Trey Murphy here. No, I didn't even have any of him. Just make sure. No, I said Keegan Murray. No Trey Murphy. That's good. So he's not going to start. So I imagine that Najee Marshall would be the one to get the bump here. Let's just see. TJD. Yeah, this guy. That's a really good play. Davis. The only thing I would say is that Davis. Listen, it's a different world when you're not coming off the bench. When you are getting the start. Now you're competing with like the studs for usage. Whereas if you're on the second unit, you could do a little more. But he's not really expected to score much anyway. He'll have a couple of points, but they really expect him to get the rebounds, some blocks, whatever. So I do think he's a very, very good play. All right, so we're going to keep trekking back to this New Orleans thing and see if anything gets moved. I guess nothing's going to change unless or until you get the starters, right? I think. I know it's not going to affect the main guys. Like, there's no way that him being out affects the guys who were going to play anyway, like either Zion, Ingram, Jones, McCollum, or Valanciunas. The only guy I really think it could bump is maybe Najee Marshall. I mean, he's not even going to start, right? This guy's coming off the bench anyway. It's going to be these 5 guys. Herb Jones, I imagine, is going to – maybe Herb Jones starts now. That's what I was going to say. Maybe he gets a bump. So we're going to definitely have to take a look at that. Let me see one other site. It's usually good about this. They update. Curry. Niang, no. Ingram, Zion. Yeah, so Najee Marshall is going to be the decision. Najee Marshall is going to be the decision. So I'm going to have, and I'm probably not going to be around for that. No, yeah, I'm not. I got to tell you, Scott, and listen, this is going to come as whatever, as I want to say shock. Not even a shock. I know what you're saying, and I know, Bobby believes that too, and I hear that. I honestly have just never seen any proof of any of that. Really. It seems like something that makes sense, that if you're playing all the Golden States, that you need the force in the run back. I just don't think that's necessarily the case. And just no one has proven this to me. It seems like something logical that people would say and would believe and would make some sense, but no one has shown me actually any evidence of that. Like for example, let's take the NFL for example. The NFL for years, they were like, okay, you're playing these 2 wide receivers. Who's your run back? You're playing this wide receiver. Who's your run back? And it was just assumed that that's what you had to do. And this year, with the advent of the Sims and stuff, when the Sims have been analyzing results in games, it seems you don't need one. So it's like people had all these ideas of what they thought was supposed to happen, but nobody ever tested it with actual data. Like for example, if all these Golden State guys get there, Orlando can have a regular game. You know what I mean? Like if the spread is what the spread's like, pick them anyway. So if you play 4 Golden States, then Orlando just has their median. That's fine. You don't, and if these guys have their medians, you don't have to have like a Banchero median in your lineup. Remember, you're getting part of the reason you're getting the Golden State values in is not so that you can get the Banchero median, or not that you can get the Wagner median. It's so that you can get Embiid, It's so you can get Ja. It's so you can get, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's that important. I'll say this, that if you want to play both, like Wagner and Banchero, then I think you want to play a whole bunch of Warriors. But I don't think that you have to have an Orlando guy to play the Warriors. Now, with that said, I do think that they're both good plays, Banchero and whatever, and they're late game eligible, so you should probably be starting with those guys anyway. But I'll tell you what's interesting is this Patrick Beverley thing, like why I'm getting to this. Is he starting or something? I mean, not really. I'm only getting for like 16 fantasy points or whatever, but he's been in there. I'll keep this in my satellite for now, I think. Or I could just play Michael Bridges. Maybe this is a better one. And I could play Duarte like for now. And then yes, why don't I do instead of the Beverly one? I think I'm going to change that. I don't really like the Beverly one in the satellite. I'm going to have to change it to this, I think. So we'll play Paul and Wiggins we can play Bridges and then the rest later. So let me go do that first. Let's go back into my contests. upcoming. Meanwhile, I won a freaking satellite to a big contest on the NFL. I won like a 44-44. I never play stuff like that. That's going to be Sunday, so we'll see. Maybe I will play Beverly 3,900. I don't think I can get away with it. I think I got to do one without him. So wait, Paul. Let's do this by hand. Ingram. And again, none of these lineups are going to look the same by the time these games end because of all the late swapping that has to be done. I am going to play Embiid in the satellite, though. But I do like Bridges. And we'll put Duarte in here for now. I think he's fine because it's late. Jackson Davis, and we'll put him in. Okay, fair enough. Let me go back to the to New Orleans again. See if they've changed anything. Where is this? Anything changed? Doesn't look like it. New Orleans. Still Marshall with 12. Let's reset the slate here. See if there's any difference. No. So we're going to have to wait on this one. We're definitely going to have to wait on that one. It's only good when the game goes to overtime. I mean, I just feel as though a lot of these things are just even something stupid like, remember when we used to play the running backs, correlate with the defenses? It makes sense, right? Because you tell that story that, they're going to have the lead, so they're going to be running the ball. I suppose. But remember, defense is not just about having the lead. Defense is about getting all these random stuff. And you can also get the lead by passing the ball out. Anyway, is Cody Martin from Charlotte a good play? I don't know. It's less of a good play because Rozier is in. I definitely think that he's going to be in my late swap player pool, though. I'm going to have to figure out if I want to play how much of this Biombo I'm going to want to play, right? Like right now I'm getting, quite a bit of my 15% of him. He's cheap and he's early. That's the problem. And I'm getting some of the Sandro and whatever, but my centers are mostly Embiid. That's not true. Getting some Claxton. I am getting like some Sandro, Sabonis. But again, let's see what happens when the Marshall thing comes in. Actually, in my fadeaway, look at this center exposure here. 16% Claxton, only 14% Embiid, like pretty spread out, which is pretty interesting. Let's again go back to New Orleans and see what up. I guess they have to wait for the starters. You go to another site, maybe you get at least some. But it's ridiculous because until we know the starters, I don't think that we can project anyway. That game. Let me see. Let me see what Najee looks like. Yeah, they didn't even. Well, they gave him 17. Okay, so that's something. So that's interesting. So one place was giving him 17. Another one like SaberSim is giving him 12, but that's got to change. Like if I knew he was going to be projected for 17, how would that affect what I think we'd want to play? But we'd have to put in ownership as well. So let me see what another place has as far as projections go. I think 17 sounds right, but we'll see. And these guys have him at 20, and Larry Nance at 17, 18. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at. 12, something like 17. I'm going to start updating these now and see what we get. Because if we're going to get 17, we're going to probably have to play him. So we're going to do this right now. I'll do FanDuel also. It won't be done until probably close to 7. Might not be till 7:30 because I have to go eat. I don't know if Goldie has these things going on. I don't know if Goldie's updating projections today, but I know SaberSim. Well, they'll get their act together. They'll get this done soon. It's only 6:35. I got to remember to check my goalies. Need an intern. Let's see. Just check you guys for a second. Yeah, back to the Martin play. Okay. I wonder what we should give Marshall for ownership. We're going to keep waiting on that one. We're really going to have to keep waiting on this Marshall thing. But one thing is that when there was an absence of value, when something comes up, they really pound on this thing. So I think he is going to end up being somewhat over-owned relative to what his true chances are of being in the winner. But that doesn't necessarily mean we shouldn't play him. The other interesting play is the guy I just mentioned, is Larry Nance Jr. Because him and Joval have essentially been swapping, combining for 48 minutes. But again, it's only the last 2 games. And this is what I talked about when they dealt with the Moses Brown thing yesterday. But just because something happened for 2 games doesn't mean that that's going to happen forever. It could have been just team dependent. Opponent dependent. And then hopefully SaberSim will be updated once I get done with these clowns here. I'll tell you, the NBA is kind of a weird DFS sport, to say the least. That really is an all-night thing. Not that bad, but all right, let's see, what do we got here? Valanciunas. There's Najee at 17. Okay, this is fine. We will. What are we going to get for ownership for him? Flagship 16. Okay. So we'll download this, and we should be able to I might be able to do this live with you guys. I think we're going to have time. Okay. We'll be able to figure out exactly how much Marshall we want to get before the 7 o'clock. And again, I might do a late swap before, so I don't know if this is going to hold, but you'll see me actually do this. We don't feel like doing FanDuel, but Yahoo, but I will. Just doesn't take that long. So I'm definitely gonna get this done in time. It looks that way at least. So let's refresh slate. I'll show you exactly how I do this. There's a couple more places I have to go, don't I? Actually, maybe not. And again, usually Bobby's here, so I mean, I can kind of fade away and do these things while he's taking care of the chat, but I have to do this now. So, but it'll be worth it. So here, and then we will redo the projections. Take these guys out, and I'll redo these here. Wait, where's NBA? NBA 2, 3, 4, 6. 2, 3, 4, 6. Should take about 1 minute. And that'll give us plenty of time to redo our lineups. I'll give you a quick look-see. It would be, as far as point per dollar go, yeah, where's Najee? Najee Marshall. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be that much of a lock, but we'll build and we'll see. And again, what's cool is that I did downgrade or upgraded the later games, so maybe he won't come up as much as I think. But let's see. First, I'll show you in order. Let's first upload them so that people on the site have them, and then I will show you, and then we'll just build. 6:43. We got time. And again, we're just gonna get something reasonable in for the first couple of games. Okay. Like for example, this is what it's gonna look like now. This is like brand new, updated projections. Let's see. Sort by point per dollar now. What are we getting? Yeah, I mean, where's Najee? I mean, he's all the way down. Where is Najee? I don't even see him. I mean, 18 points, and what's the big deal? And 24% ownership. Let's see what we get. Let's check it out. Let's go to DraftKings first. We'll just rerun everything. Maybe we're going to get 100% of him. We'll see. Upload. Maybe we get 100%. Rebuild. I don't even know what I'm hoping. Maybe it doesn't even matter what I hope. I hope I don't get 100%, but if I get 20, I'll take it. Because again, I'm really into just delaying all this stuff to those last two games if I can. But you could also get more of a stack out of that New Orleans game now, maybe. Let's see what we get here. So again, first thing we're going to look at is the Saber score rankings. Oh, the other thing I have to do is I have to update the my lineups within this contest build here. I'm like 35% Marshall. That's reasonable. First things first. First, let's upload the entries here. Select file. Wait, download these. Just want to replace these with the. Remember, because I changed the satellite. All right, so I think that's reasonable. 30% if you're going to get an 18-point projection. And remember, I already overweighted the later games. So I don't have to, you know what I mean? So it's already accounting for that. Luke Kennard showing up a little bit. But it's still the Trace Jackson, Chris Paul, and to some extent the Joel Embiid show. So we'll kind of know pretty quickly how we're doing. And I'll tell you this, it's a cupcake matchup for Embiid against Drummond, that's for sure. Okay, so that would be Paul Jackson. Oh, I am getting a bunch of Marshall. 30% though? Okay, that's fine. This is all good. I like this actually. So we'll put this into the fadeaway. Do I have time? Yep, 6:47. Put this into the alley-oop. We'll do the same thing we did before, right? We'll take the single entry risk-adjusted ROI, and we'll just give those extra. We'll just put one of them into one single entry and one in the splash, which is the 3-entry max, cheating just a little bit. And then we'll go into projected score, and we're going to put that one into the Sadi. And you'll see when I hit download, this automatically comes up, which didn't before because I didn't have that setting set. Boom. Can't forget to check my goalies. So we'll do this with FanDuel. And as that's running, I'll check my goalies. Upload FanDuel. See the differences? Maybe. Yeah, I gotta do this. I know. I forgot, Carnes. I know. I gotta do all this. Maybe I'll give everybody like an extra 15 minutes or something. Okay, let's do this. Good call though. I gotta do this. I gotta put the staking stuff up. Man, the ultimate multitasking here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll give them to 7:15 on this one, I guess. We'll do the monster first. And then contest sim. FanDuel MMA shot. Today, 7:15. Okay. Create package. MMDK fadeaway. Today, I'll give that till 7:15 as well. Boom. Okay, NBA shot. Let's see what we have here. Risk adjusted ROI. 4 is good. Uh-oh. Very nice. Then we'll do monster. 3 Sacramento Kings looks good. That's fine. Download these. And then we will upload these. And just so you can see, wait, I can't forget my goalies. Can't believe this is happening. Let's see. All right, that's all good. Let's check goalies. Upcoming hockey. Ulmark is probable. What about Saros? Saros not playing? 8 p.m. We don't worry about that yet. All these guys are good. Let's go back into State Kings. 555 alley-oop. 7:15 p.m. today. Good. Alley-oop. 7:15. We'll go and we'll do hockey. NHL penalty kill. Here, I'll show you how I'm doing this too. Why not? Penalty kill. One entry. That's 400. And I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be doing the State King stuff. It's really not working out the way I wanted it to. Not that I'm making people money, but it's just not really want to turn into like a fun sweat. I haven't really quite figured out how to do that yet. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this, but for now, let's give the people the action. Penalty kill, and then kick save. For the entries, 600, 1.2 today. Boom. And then we'll check the packages, see what's up there. Kick save, penalty kill, alley-oop, fadeaway, shot, monster. That should do it. Okay, everybody. Deep breath, breathe. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I forgot the splash. You may as well put the splash in. Splash. Call it again. 7:15 is fine. It's good. And then the mid-range jumper. Do I have it up here? The show time is 100, right? Today, 7:15. Thanks for the reminder, by the way, Cairns. That's good. And we should be good. Make sure that you, listen, I just can tell you what I'm doing. Make sure that you really pay attention to late swap, late changes, or whatever. And again, one of these days I will do a live video on how to do all that. But until then, that'll do it.